Are we live? I think we live. Wait a little bit. What's going on? Good morning. Well, let me think. For y'all, it's a nice afternoon. For me, it's a good morning. On my way to get my day started. What up, Gabriel? DF. So, yeah, I'm or denied. However, I do think there's something very interesting taking place. Roll my window up. I think there is something interesting taking place. I just don't know what it is, and I can't pinpoint it. But Milton didn't practice again today. Neither did Jordan Travis. And we know Milton didn't practice Friday before the scrimmage. So on one of those 247 message boards, and I'm driving now, so I'm not gonna really obviously be able to pull this up. But what on one of those 247 message boards, somebody posted that they had seen, I think the guy's name was Tampa Knoll, I think. Again, this has not been confirmed by any of your typical FSU sources, right? So this has not been confirmed by like a Ward Channel or any of the major sources, the real sources. This was a message on a this was a post on a message board that made its rounds on Twitter. Anyway, the man said I think he saw Mackenzie Milton in a boot. That his foot, something with his foot. He's not healthy. And again, I can't find anything confirming or denying that other than Norvell's awkward way, right? I like to call it how I see it. Norvell's awkward way of handling these quarterbacks. So last year, it was the quarterbacks were live contact during practice. I don't know if I'm still going or not. I'm gonna just keep talking like y'all can still hear me because I think I'm good. So it says I'm good. Whatever. Anyway, anyways, we were criticized, or they criticized Norvell last year because he likes to get his young quarterbacks in live practices. Obviously, the potential future of the program went down. He received a lot of backlash for that. Now this year he's doing something weird. I don't want to dig too deep into it. I can force myself to maybe kind of understand the thought process. Okay, if you look at it, this is the second week of practice. One would assume after this week, you're now getting into your game plan stuff with Notre Dame. Maybe before we jump into the game planning of Notre Dame, you want to give your third and your fourth string quarterbacks just a good look, some good reps. And let's assume Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton's played enough football that they can take a day off. I just find it interesting that in the midst of a supposedly heated quarterback battle, that both of the quarterbacks did not practice. Find that weird. I don't know. Again, I'm not calling. One guy on one message board talked about an injury, and of course, everybody kind of took that and ran with it. I can't say that's true or not. So I guess you take from what you get there. Rumors Norvell was talking to the media. No, he did. He did an interview today, which I saw, and which nobody asked him about McKenzie Milton, or nobody discussed injuries. Nobody really asked about the quarterback situation, for that matter. In the interview that I saw, which he does an interview after just about after every practice. So I saw that. No breaking information in that interview. Again, nobody's broke anything. Nobody credible anyway. Is there? I don't know. There seems to be smoke. Is there potentially some fire? Hard to tell. It's interesting that the quarterbacks keep sitting out, though. I'll say that. That's really like, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's hurt or not. I really don't know. Again, I can't find anything on it. I do find it interesting that in the midst of a quarterback battle, a heated one at that, one where it's funny that your beat writers and your reporters are always quick to report that Jordan Travis was having a good day or McKenzie Milton was having a good day. They can't seem to find out about an injury. I have to believe with the players and the people that the players talk to and staff and just the amount of people around the program, if Milton was in a boot, somebody would have snuck a picture. Something would have been leaked by now. So I don't know if Milton is really hurt. The only good news I would say about a Milton injury, if it even is true, is that it's not his knee. They're saying it's his foot. Now, is that foot an extension of the knee, like a lower extremity? I don't know. Is like the foot messed up because the knee, don't know. Maybe it is what Mike Norvell says. They're just load managing and allowing these young quarterbacks to get reps. Again, I find it weird. I don't know if I've ever seen, in fall camp where the number one guy is not established, you sit both of the 1 and 2 options out, let the third and fourth options go, and you're, of only a few days away from starting to implement Notre Dame game planning. So I'm not trying to blow it out of proportion because I'm not going to sit here and say anybody's hurt. So I'm not going to blow that proportion and go full-blown injury because I just, my personal opinion is if he was walking around Tallahassee in a damn boot, somebody would have clipped a picture of that and made that viral by now. Like, I find that very hard to hide from everybody. Like, somebody would have leaked that. But it's still weird. This quarterback situation, the handling of it is still weird. And this could all be for nothing. They could just be resting these guys, and they could be doing exactly what I said, letting the third and fourth strings get a little bit of options, and then they're gonna run with the ones the rest of practice, which they should be doing anyway. But let me see what y'all talking about here. Hold on. What's good, Steel? No. More camp breaks. What's up, Seminole Firewater? He probably rest them. So yeah, DF mentioned it. They announced that yesterday. Dent's making, I think, the full-time move to safety. I mean, if he can flourish in that position, good for him. From what they say, he's flourishing in it. His second year, people argue, he played his best football at safety. He couldn't catch an interception to save his life. But at least he was He looked comfortable in that position, made plays on the ball in that position. So, yeah, shout out to Akeem Dent. Again, I don't, I did a count the other day. Well, I did a count yesterday when I found out he made the move to safety. I just did my own personal count, not counting walk-ons. FSU's got like 17 scholarship DBs on safety and corners. If moving the safety is gonna help him, hey, you got to get him where you fit in, because newsflash to a lot of people, your favorite DB is not going to see. There's a good chance your favorite DB won't see the field. Might not see the field this year. If you're a Jarvis Brownlee fan, if you're a Ronaldo Green fan, if you're Jerry Joe, like just name them, Demore Tate, there's a good chance your favorite DB may not see the field, or if he does see the field, he's going to see very limited action. And that's nothing to say about the player themselves. There's 17 scholarship defensive backs in that secondary. So, DF talked about it a little bit right there. Dent moving to safety. If he can break the rotation at safety, especially if they're saying they're working Travis Jay. If you watch the practice clips, Jay's working a lot more at corner. So if Jay's moving down the corner, they need another safety to step up. Whoever, if that's Dent, I'm all for it. How are QBs even getting hurt in practice? They don't make those non-contact jerseys like they used to. Really hope it's nothing and it's just rest. I seen KZ at practice this morning and he wasn't wearing any boot. That's what Rose says. Akeem says, I see it as he's letting the younger guys get reps and resting the experienced guys. I was about to say the same thing. My nephew was enrolled at FSU and saw KZ today too, and he looked fine. See, again, that's why I wanted to address it, because that's, again, and when you get your information, man, from like Twitter and these sources, you got to be careful what you put out there. And of course, I woke up this morning. You guys got to remember, I'm on like a 6-hour time difference, right? So when I wake up at 6 in the morning, y'all have already had a 6-hour head start, and it's noon for y'all, and y'all have all this information. So I wake up to my feed going haywire, or some DMs asking me stuff, right? So now I gotta be like, wake up and be like, oh, okay, what's going on? So on my way to work, said, why not just address the rumors? I didn't tweet anything about it because, frankly, I couldn't find anything reliable about it. Again, the guy, I think his name was Tampa Noel. If you're on Twitter, you probably saw the screenshot of the post. Like, you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about if you follow it. If not, don't worry about it. Until anything drops official, I really wouldn't be worried about it. And again, my whole theory or opinion on it is, if it was true and Milton was hurt or walking around in a boot, somebody in Tallahassee at that university would have talked about it by now. And one guy on a message board doesn't equate to that. So glad to hear that people's like, they saw him this morning and he looked fine. So that's what's up. Dent moves the safety. That's what's up. As far as today's practice goes, from what I heard, Purdy and Rodemaker looks okay. My whole thing about Tate, man, I got big opinions on both of the young quarterbacks. One, Purdy hasn't played enough football for me to have any faith or any expectations that he's going to do anything, right? So when it comes to Chubba Purdy, the guy's been out of Tallahassee for a year. This fall camp is his first time back around the team, first time throwing the football. I don't expect anything out of Purdy. And when it comes to Tate, Tate. Oh, my damn flask fell. I didn't hit nothing. My flask fell. When it comes to Tate, uh, when it comes to Tate, um, he's been known as a practice warrior since he's been on campus. I said Demore Tate. Tate Rodemaker's been known as a guy who practices extremely well since he's been on the campus. And then we see him in game situations, and he looks like a deer in headlights. So I'm hoping we don't get to either one of those quarterbacks. Give him time to continue to cook, marinate, all of that good stuff. I don't want to see either one. Doesn't mean their future's not bright. I just don't want to see them right now. And Jordan Travis and MKZ did not practice today, but I think it's just some people stirring up the pot. I don't know if it's legit. You know what I mean? What up, Norville Central? I got that gold. It's the sun. That's what it is. The damn sun. I ain't got no glow. So yeah, man. I didn't want to do nothing too long or anything. I just wanted to get out here and address the concern, which I do think it'd be a bit of a concern if MKZ was a DM. Okay, I got you, Norville. Probably not hurt, maybe a few bumps and bruises, but nothing serious, I'd expect. Ain't nobody hurt, Norville, just being extra cautious, which I don't have a problem with. That's fair. I do, but this goes back to what I've been saying. So, okay, let's do it. If we don't think that there's no real injuries and they're just being extra precautious and letting guys get rest, that's fine. I'm all for it too. But haven't I been saying that there's not really a quarterback competition? Haven't I been saying that I don't believe that there's really a quarterback competition, that we know who the quarterback is, and that all this quarterback competition talk is just a bunch of smoke for Notre Dame? Now, this is my own opinion, my own conspiracy theories, or whatever you want to call it. But I've been saying that there's no real quarterback competition. If there was a quarterback competition, why in the midst of it are we resting the two quarterbacks? I mean, I don't know. I feel like if this is a real quarterback competition, they need to be getting all the snaps, all the reps. You need to know what you're going in. Notre Dame isn't, Notre Dame isn't Jacksonville State. Notre Dame isn't, you're not opening the season with the Citadel, right? You are opening the season with a team that went to the college football playoff last year. So why are we sitting here resting the two and not knowing what we got going in? Or maybe they do know what they got going in, and that's why they're resting the two. Again, just a little bit food for thought. But don't take anything I say seriously. I'm just talking. Our QB room can't catch a break. It's hot in Florida. It's hot in Hawaii. But that's it. That's really it. That's really all I got. Again, nothing too crazy. Unless you think Jordan Travis's foot is hurt. Not Jordan Travis, I'm sorry. Mackenzie Milton. But that's kind of my thing too, Ardavius, right? Like something eventually, you say something's got to give, but and maybe that is the case, right? Again, I can see that both sides of every coin, so to speak. So maybe the plan is, you know what? We're gonna go hard for the Notre Dame prep. Even though usually when you're prepping for a team, this isn't the time to be pushing guys necessarily to their limits. You're more so implementing a game plan, strictly focusing on practicing specific type of plays, formation, all that good stuff. But maybe they realize, well, we can't afford to rest these guys during that time span. Let's rest them now. Jordan Travis and MKZ Milton, again, those are two guys who don't need a lot of practice reps in terms of, the first 2 weeks of fall camp is your kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the word just left me, but like getting back into kind of game shape, I guess is where I'm trying to get it at, right? And then the follow after that, they're gonna be worried about game planning and all of that. And maybe they just feel like there's no need to push them anymore in practice. We're gonna get them in game situations, get them in the playbook and the game plan, because everything they're running at practice up until now is vanilla. There's nothing. They're not running anything. Believe me, with the media out there watching and posting every other clip on social media, they're not running anything out there right now. If you go look at all the plays, they're running go routes, pitching the ball out the backfield they're not running any serious plays in practice right now. Maybe the thought process is we're gonna bring these boys back when we actually dig into the playbook or something. I don't know. Again, the handling of it is a little weird to me because I've never seen it. So, if there really was a QB competition, I don't see how these two guys are not fully entrenched. But, again, could be just a bunch of smoke, bunch of overhype. Nothing nose up, canes down. Nothing it could be nothing to worry about. I think both Milton and KZ play versus Notre Dame. And what aspect though? Like, at what degree? Like, I don't disagree that both will see the field and both might take snaps. But are we talking about Jordan Travis in like wildcat formations, design runs, maybe a quick run RPO, run pass options? If we're talking about that, then I would agree. If we're talking about them splitting snaps because we don't know who the quarterback is, yeah, we're doomed if that's the case. I don't feel good about this Notre Dame game. We couldn't get a warm-up game for why we couldn't get a warm-up game for the opener. I feel you, but I actually feel good about the Notre Dame game. As long as we go in there healthy. If we go in there healthy, I actually feel good about it. And the guy they named that starter makes me feel even better, to be quite honest with you. I've seen Wisconsin quarterbacks, so I'm not too stressed about Notre Dame, quite honestly. Plus, quite frankly, after last year, I want to see what this team does off the jump. I don't need a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I don't need a bunch of false hope. Get me out there against Notre Dame and let me see exactly what we working with. Let me know if I need to fire Fuller now or tomorrow, right? So I'm always down for the big game, but I understand where you're coming from. Why couldn't we get a couple cupcakes in there, and then go from there? Which QB has been more impressive so far? Well, you can't ask me because I don't be at the practices. So if you're asking me, I don't know. I'm not an insider. I'm not at the practices. I know who I think is going to start. That's my belief. Who's been more impressive? Who knows? So basically, fire Fuller. Yep, pretty much. If Notre Dame goes for more than 30, Fuller should be fired. Milton starting and Travis having a package of plays sprinkled in like the red zones. That I agree with. I do agree we'll see that. I concur. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Where I have a problem with is if one series we're seeing MKZ Milton, and then the next series we're seeing like that, because then no one's gonna be able to develop any kind of consistency or rhythm if we're rotating like that. That we're doomed. But if you're telling me Milton's the primary starter, and then in certain situations, depending on what the OC sees or Norvell sees and what the defense is running, you can throw Travis in there. All for that. We ain't got to see anything to come up with that conclusion. Let's fire Fuller right now. Hey, people have kind of like, I've cooled off on firing Fuller until I see this. I know might come as a shocker. I've been one of his biggest critics. But you know what? I'm looking at a roster, a defensive roster that I'm really excited about the pass rush, the potential pass rush. I'm really excited about these DBs. I'm looking at the overall talent of the defense, and I'm saying to myself, if he can't figure it out, there's no more, let's just call it how I see it, but there's no more Corey Durdens in the room. No more guys that are being rebellious. No more guys who are being cancerous, quote unquote, right? You've got a bunch of transfers that are bought in here to do what they're supposed to do. That's the word. Everybody's bought in. Everybody's ready. Everybody believes in what they're doing. Hey, I'm gonna give them a shot. I'm gonna give them a shot. Man, looking at the players run through their techniques during practice made cringe. First of all, they're too small, and secondly, they look disinterested. Championship mentality begins in practice. I don't know how from watching a 10-second clip, no power, you come up with any of that. These kids, which still is weird to me, him looks about his looks in terms of size, but whatever. If you guys are so fixated on the size of these kids, keep on going on with that. And again, from watching 10-second clips, I don't see kids that look disinterested. I don't know where you get any of that, but go ahead, bro. You believe what you believe. JJ finna go crazy. Give Fuller, Odell, and Marv a little time, folks. Odell, no, false. If you want to give Fuller and Marv a little time, okay, fine. Both of them have only been on the job for a year. Odell's been here for 2 decades plus, more than that. What little time does Odell need? Odell's been here. What are you talking about? Yeah, Tay, I don't know what he's talking about. Again, people come on here just to say what they got to say, but we're all entitled to our opinions. Don't know what he's looking at, but we're all entitled to our opinions. Leave Odell out of this. Here we go with this too small-ish. I think we'll lean on the run game regardless of the QB. O-line doesn't get exposed in pass. Well, I definitely agree. And like I'm gonna cover this more in another episode, especially when we start previewing the Notre Dame game. I definitely think to establish the run is kind of the key to the whole offense. I mean, that's basic football 101, right? Establish the run, but I think establishing the run is going to help not only the O-line but the quarterbacks and all that. So I'm with you there. And if again, you establish the run, keep the defense off the field, that would help for sure. You feel me? This man said give Odell time. Odell has had time, bro. Odell has had time. I don't care if he was coaching the entire D-line for 2 seasons. Don't care about none of that. Odell's had over 20 years. What was his excuse last year? It don't matter if he could have been recruiting out in Wisconsin. He's supposed to. Last year, he went back to his normal area. And we didn't sign a defensive tackle. I think it's all about stopping Notre Dame game's run game. That's what killed us last year. The same running plays over and over and over. No one's hating Odell, but you can't call for Odell to get more time. Like I know I'm not hating him, but Odell doesn't have time. Like Odell should be entrenched in recruiting. He should know, like, no time. No. It's been a time. It's been time for a new D-line coach. That's what I said. Odell read that letter you wrote, Polk. I heard he trying to hold on. He trying to throw a hand. I ain't gonna fight Odell. I respect my elders. I want to know who got Jermaine Johnson to commit to us. Pay him more. You have a DB 160 plus, good size backers. Your backers are actually really big, Ardavius. If you look at the 240, Gainer is like 237, 240. Of course, we know Lundy's like 250, but I don't expect anything from him. McCrae's in his 235 plus. The only small backer we got is Deloach, and from what I hear, he's been excelling in practice, especially in the coverage. So our backers are actually really good sized. Again, I think the only place I would say we are undersized at is defensive tackle, but I've talked about that. Outside of our top two guys, we get a little small there at the defensive tackle room. Give the man time. Damn it. All right. How much time? Hold on. How much time does Odell need, though? Again, 20 years. How much time do we give him before we decide to switch D-line coaches? Been watching film and clips for 11 months. These running backs should look like great. Been watching this program since. Did Devontae Freeman look like Greg Jones since you've been watching this program since '89? What about Diamond Cook never looked like Greg Jones? Chris Thompson never looked like Greg Jones. Jermaine Thomas, I haven't been watching him at '89, but I couldn't go down the name of a lot of guys I've watched over my years just off the top of the dome. There's only been one Greg Jones at Florida State. It's not like we've turned out running backs that look like that. Come on, man. I got Odell by KO. Yeah, Odell probably would knock me out. Some if I were laughing at no power. Look at the D tackle roster outside of maybe three guys. That T-Fracker room is shameful. 2 major injuries. I talked about that, Myron. I talked about that. Like, if Fabian Lovett or Coop goes down, we could be in trouble, man. We could be in trouble on that defensive tackle rotation. Look at what Odell did with Marvin. Such a waste. Mickey Andrews gave the code to a national championship during the celebration of Bobby. Mickey mentioned the off-season programs they ran at 5:30 a.m. James Wilder was the closest thing. Yeah, and he wasn't no Greg Jones. But yeah, James Wilder is the only other thing that you'd have. And I would not even put him in Greg Jones's stratosphere, to be honest with you. Wilder was a good hard runner, but he wasn't Greg Jones. He wasn't Greg Jones. Majority of Warwick Dunn. Hell, I didn't even mention Warwick Dunn. He damn sure wasn't no Greg Jones. Like, FSU actually has a list of kind of undersized running backs who were actually exceptionally good. So again, I haven't been watching since '89, but I kind of think I know a little bit. I see some of y'all in the chat are casuals. Marvin was moved to a different style of 3 times in 4 years, but you want to blame Odell. I'm blaming Odell on recruiting and lack of depth in the room. As far as what Marv is or isn't or wasn't, a lot. I won't even blame Odell for what Marv did or did not do. I'll blame Marv on his own merits, because I watched guys like Janoris Robinson and Kando, and I watched a lot of these guys get drafted. So I'm not going to attack Odell on what Marv didn't do. I'll just attack him on what he's not doing, and what he's not doing is recruiting the position. Yeah, he did. He damn sure did. But yeah, man, we getting off topic. Well, it really wasn't off topic, and I still got like another 30 minutes to sit here. So recruiting is Odell's weakness. This is why I felt he needed a young assistant next to him. That's all I'm criticizing him on, Zoe. I don't even care to criticize him on the actual play of the room. I think there was a lot more factors than just coaching to the play of that room last year. And a lot of it had to do with no buy-in from some of the key leaders of that defense, right? So, yeah, I'm not criticizing on Marvin Wilson falling out of the draft. I'm not criticizing him I won't even criticize him on like Corey Durden. I'm not criticizing him on any of that. Those players have to take self-responsibility for their own on some of that. But look at the depth of the room. That's where I criticize him. You can't deny that. You can deny anything else. You can't deny that room. When you look at that roster, when you look at that D-tackle depth chart, you got 2-3 guys. That's it. Briggs, love it. And Briggs is undersized, but he's a player. Briggs, love it, and Coop. That's all you got. After that, Coach Papa John is the 5th highest paid D-line coach in the nation. If we're talking about Papuches, but look at what he recruited last year. He recruited like 5 defensive ends. Patrick Payton, Byron Turner, Chambry Jackson. Now, I think Chambry might move inside eventually. I know they've already put Joshua Farmer inside. I got all of that. But look how many DNs he signed. That DM room is taking a turn, man. That DM room is taking a turn. How much did Coach JP have to do with bringing Jermaine Johnson and Marcus Cushney on board? You know what I'm saying? So, recruiting, man. Recruiting. Odell is asked. Dion is better than last year. I think it might be more cohesive than last year, Panama. I like our edge better than last year. I think Kando and J-Rob, obviously, both got drafted. Both are going to be in the NFL. Both were very long athletes. I don't know if they were explosive edge rushers. I think we got 2 guys who are explosive off the edge right now. And that could be the main difference in Jermaine Johnson and Cushney, right? And Cushney might not even start. Cushney might not even start, which is great depth to have, right? So is it might be more cohesive, which may in turn yield better results. Yeah, Briggs is on the inside now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The D tackle room only has those 3 guys: Briggs, Lovett, and Coop. Everything past that is a question mark, right? Everything past that is a question mark. You hoping Malcolm Ray eventually turns into something, right? How much are you really going to get out of true freshman Farmer? That Louisville transfer, the Jarrett Jackson, are we ever going to get anything out of him? Is True Thompson is going to ever really produce anything? Like, those are the questions you have in the D tackle room, man. But anyway, man, that's all I got. Want to address the McKenzie Milton rumors that he's potentially hurt. A lot of you guys say the word around the campus and Tallahassee is he don't have a boot. He seems to be healthy. Nothing official. Again, just rumors on message boards about McKenzie Milton. So I want to address it just to say I don't know what the hell's going on. But I do have some concerns over the handling of the QBs. But I think some of you guys kind of ease my concerns on that, saying, just rest, give it time. We'll see what happens there. But once we're game planning, I'm going to say this. Once we're game planning for Notre Dame, if we start hearing more stuff about rest, I'm going to have an issue. But for now, I'll chill out and I'll calm down. Imagine what the D tackle room would look like if some of those DNs weren't sliding inside. That's my point. They turned Joshua Farmer into a defensive tackle, which is dope. Briggs, they turned him into a defensive tackle, but he was a DN. We wouldn't. That D tackle room's bad. It is what it is. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. It is what it is. We see it. DF loves some Odell, and a lot of people love Odell. I don't hate Odell. I love the man. But I also call a spade, and eventually you got to move on, But we'll see. Odell's he's got 2 defensive tackle recruits this year, which is dope, and Lyons and Bishop. We'll see what happens. I honestly forgot Jarrett Jackson was on the team. Exactly. Jordan Prize is a 4-star and number 6 safety in the 24 class. All right. But yeah, man, that's all I got today. Some little midweek action, something quick, nothing too crazy. Thank you guys. Let me get to work. And of course, this weekend, I will see y'all this weekend, man. As always, it's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles. And we at you, baby.